Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Angeles Forest. It is just a spectacular day for a drive today. And this is, as far as my memory serves, the first opportunity I've had to drive a tuned Alfa Romeo 4C. This car is really neat. It's super light. It's like 2,300 pounds. Turbo, four-cylinder engine in the back, dual-clutch gearbox. It's all about weight savings. And other than the BMW i3, this is the cheapest car you can buy with a carbon tub, like a racing style carbon fiber chassis with extruded aluminum subframes. It's a very, very neat car. So this one has the Stage 1 tune by Euro Compulsion, and while I don't have a dyno sheet, the estimate is 280 horsepower at the wheels. So make of that what you will, but we're going to find out how nice it is. So let's go into that's all-weather mode. Hang on, we got to choose our modes. We're in dynamic mode, manual gearbox. Okay, well, let's go for a drive. All right, so the first things you notice in the 4C, same as stock, you know, the power steering is non-existent. It's manual steering. Brake pedals very tight. Steering rack is very quick. The car feels, the word is lively. It's lively. When you get into boost, kind of all hell breaks loose, and that's really good fun. And it's fast. It is fast. Brake pedals very tight and feels very effective. With the steering wheel position, it's tough for me to see the tach. Fortunately, when I get near red line, the whole gauge turns yellow and allows me to see when to shift. Let me see if I can get by homie in the Civic here. You gonna let me by? I'm flashing. Come on. So with the carbon tub, the chassis, come on, homie, is very, very rigid. I mean, you just don't feel any flex at all in the chassis. All right, well, if you're not going to let me by after 6 flashes, I don't know what to tell you. Everything is very tight. It's not the nicest interior, but looking at all this bare carbon is extremely cool. Oh, it thought he was going to let me by. It looked like he was. Come on! All right, screw it. I'm not dealing with that. Apologize, people. U-turn. Oh, man. Turning radius, not great. Steering effort, very high. Let's try that one more time the other direction. Man, with the engine right behind your head, you hear so much of everything, from the boost to the exhaust. There aren't any mufflers on the car. It's really just got the turbo and then a straight pipe. So what's really interesting about these things is that they're very, very wide. I feel comfortable using the word chode-like because they are so wide, but at the same time, they don't really have very wide tires. So at these speeds, a quick canyon blast speed, it corners so flat, it inspires a lot of confidence. However, when you're at the track, or when you really start to push it, you realize that despite the wide stance and the flat cornering, that there's not actually all that much tire under there. And so you run out of grip at the limit. And it happens in a way that will make poo come out, for sure. But, I mean, as far as a feedback machine, and that's what we can call this is a pure feedback machine. It sends everything that's going on through your hands and your ass and your ears. The gearbox is really responsive when you're going quickly. It's not the ideal, let's call it urban runabout. However, out up here, it's pretty magnificent. And the owner, Chris, this is not his daily driver. He dailies a Tesla. So you could go fairly polar opposites in the enthusiast market with the Tesla driver and the Alfa weekend car. But if you notice, I'm tall and fat, and I can actually fit in here pretty good. The seats are firm but pretty comfortable, and I wouldn't say the tune completely transforms the car, but it feels really nice. Power feels linear and manageable. Maybe not linear, it's definitely boosty. But everything is just so responsive in this thing. I'm going to flip around here and not deal with air construction. There we go. Turning radius. It's when you're my height, it's actually very difficult to see the gauges. I mean, if you wanted a car that really does have a proper exotic feel, though, I mean, it feels like a baby exotic. It's like a baby Ferrari. That's their goal. It's very pretty. It definitely catches eyes on the street. And if you told someone on the road that it was 75 grand, they'd be amazed because the car looks like a $100,000 car. But there's just some stuff that, I mean, I know there's weight savings, but the plastic paddle shifters feel cheap, and the aftermarket radio kind of feels cheap. And man, you just hear so much air rushing through the engine. It's fast though. This is a very, very quick car. I mean, even out of the box it's quick. This thing can run in the 12s really all day. But the tune, it feels really, really strong. I love it. And once you're moving, the heavy steering becomes less of an issue. It's really more when you're parking it or moving it around a lot or something. At these speeds right now, the 6/10, 7/10 speeds, the 4C is really, really at home. This is proper. And last time I drove one of these, it was on the Snake, which is just very, very tight, and it'll really emphasize a lot of the understeer. Here, the sweepers are a little more open, and it really lets you kind of load it up slowly, and then manage the grip, and then get back on the power. Great car. Great car. I mean, do I want to buy one and take it home? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of there's a little bit of compromise. There's not really a trunk. There's not really a place to put all your stuff. I can smell the brakes a little bit. They must be working. So I'll cool it down just slightly on the way back, but you know, this is the evolution of the Lotus Elise, fundamentally. It's a better version of that formula. Very light, no power steering. You know, they add the turbocharger and the dual clutch gearbox because if you want the supercar performance numbers, I mean, if this thing had a stick, there's no way it would be running 12s in the quarter mile. You'd have probably a full second of just shift times, whereas you don't have that with the dual clutch. But and it does give it, you know, a bit of an exotic flavor. I will give them that. Would I like a manual option? Yes, I would. Is that realistic at all? No, it is not. But the 4C is, the more I drive it, the more I like it. I mean, it's definitely got a specific character for a specific person. but it does that really, really well. And the tune has accentuated that. It's great fun. It's really, really nice to drive. And so thanks, Chris, for having me out to try the tuned 4C. It doesn't feel a whole lot different from stock, honestly. If you were to drive them back to back, I'm sure you would know the difference. But it still feels like a fast, responsive, lightweight car. And if you don't mind a couple little cheap things here and there at the the expense of that for the kind of performance and feel you get from the 4C, you can get them. They're sitting around now, and the shine has worn off, so to speak, and you can get a deal on these cars. And so if you want a second or third or fourth toy car, great fun. Thank you so much. See you later.